So as I come into your energy, first my guides before I get with your energy, like really have to higher my vibration. So my guides sit around me humming basically to really raise my vibration. And after this, I move through a space that's like a portal into your energy. And as I move through this space, it's pitch black. And so as I'm moving through the space and I'm going up, and anytime I move up, it's again letting me know that I'm hiring my frequency. And so as I move up through this pitch blackness, I begin to hear the words, out of darkness comes light. And so as I move up, it's getting lighter and lighter. So I know we're transitioning to the next thing. And as I get to the very top of, this tube that I'm kind of moving through, and as it becomes very light, I get carried by the air basically to like what seems like at a carnival, one of those slides that you go down it's like just a huge amusement park full of slides. And so I'm dropped and I kind of move down and spin down and twirl around like on these slides on like a carpet. I'm on these shiny surfaces that are these slides. And so I get that out of darkness comes light, and that life is amusing, or life is almost a game but not a game. And so from there, then it moves to a dove picks me up and holds me and is flying me over a reflection of a lake, and I see myself in the reflection of the lake, but it's my body that is the dove's body, and the wings are spread out. And so I get angels, and so I get basically just angels, like surrounded by angels. And so moving from there, then we start to come up towards the Akashic records. And so I see you in your energy, and I see you in like full hiking garb with like a pick, and you're moving up a side of a mountain, and you're going straight up, and like you're using this pick to try and climb this mountain. And then you go down the mountain, then you have to come up to another mountain, and then another one. And then you're at the very last of the third mountains. You're then you look out and you see this like desert, and it's like endless desert and just dry sand, and the winds are blowing, and now you have to try and move through the desert, and you're moving towards the Akasha records. And so as you come to the records, it's this big like cement white wall, and there's a door in it. And so now it's my energy, I'm moving towards the door, and as I walk in the door, it's basically a live version of that painting, that it's all the stairways that go off into like just 100 different directions, and there's stairways, and there's people moving on top of the stairways, and there's stairways and people moving on the bottoms, and there's all these doors, open doors. And so this is like the live version inside of your records, and it's completely surrounding this huge open area within your records. And basically I pull myself back, and I start to see what's going on, and I see you in this like hiking garb still, with like a huge backpack on and your pick, and you're like sweating, and you're moving up the stairs and down the stairs and around, and up this other side of the stairs, and you're just like running, sweating, and it's like dripping. And then I'm looking, and like what I'm like, I feel confused, and I feel lost, and I'm trying to see what you're searching for, what's in the middle of this area. And so I get the very center of this area where all the stairs are kind of squared around, and it's this beautiful light that's shining straight down in the middle of this like arena that you're running around. And in the middle is an apple, and it's the most gorgeous big red apple I've ever seen. And all I want to do is go in, grab this apple, and take a bite of it. It's like calling to me. It's like just the most delicious looking apple, and I'm looking at you and I'm wondering why you're not going to get this apple, and you're looking at it and it's almost like you're cringing and you're turning away from this apple, and everything you're doing is trying to stay away from this center part. You're just moving up and down, and you're literally wherever the apple is, your head's turning to the opposite side, like you're just don't want to engage with it. And so I watch this for quite some time, and I can't make it out, and I don't understand what's going on. So finally I ask if I can have help from your higher self, and your higher self comes in, and I say, what's of the highest good for this person to know right now in their life? And what's this apple represent? Basically, and I was getting before kind of hits of like Adam and Eve and like the forbidden fruit, but that didn't feel quite right. And so the higher self comes in and says, the apple basically represents the mind, and this is wisdom. And I guess like with Adam and Eve, it's the tree of life, and eating the apple represents like the disillusion of the garden that's the sanctuary, and so chooses the wisdom in the material world, and that what was forbidden, whatever, all of that. So the apple I get for you and your higher self is telling me that you're running away from the mind, and don't take this in the physical sense, but your higher self says you have to stop running and face it. And so I get that there's this not a disconnect, definitely, but you don't want to be present within the space of the mind is what I get. And this mind, this apple was just so beautiful, and I couldn't understand why you wouldn't want the wisdom and the knowledge and the peace of mind. And looking at that, I wanted to take the bite, and I knew it would fill me. It just had that look that it would just satisfy everything I wanted. And it just seemed like there was this fear around being with the thoughts in the mind, and being with this part of yourself, and engaging in it. And so I asked, well, okay, so what's this person supposed to do? And they said you needed to sit with your mind and allow the mind to fill you. Like I wanted to eat it because it looked like it would fill me and just like be so everything I needed. And so that's what they want you to do with the mind, is you need to allow the mind to fill you, because it's going to give you all the answers you're searching for. And it's the only answer. Like everything outside of yourself, everything outside it's not going to fill you. And so searching and sitting with the mind is the only thing that's going to fill this, it seemed like this endless quest you were going on. It's like you put your Akashic records, at least in this perspective, out in the middle of the desert, so we couldn't even get to it. Like it was over hills, through the mountains, and across the landscape of the desert, and to try and get to this Akashic records, it's like you were doing everything in your power. And then this, apple, the mind, the knowledge, the wisdom that you could have from your own body was trapped in the middle of these stairways that you were never going to be able to get to. There was no access route to this apple in the middle. And so your higher self is saying you need to connect, and you need to allow the mind to fill you, and you need to sit with your own wisdom. And that's going to be the source of fulfillment for you. And so I asked, a practice or what you could do, because it seems almost like there's a fear of being alone with the mind, or sitting in quietness, or finding that stillness with the mind. And so, they actually brought me back to when I developed migraines and insomnia at a young age. I had a very overactive mind, and it's like I couldn't stop my thoughts, and I couldn't stop it, and I just didn't want to be with what was in my head. And so, in a sense, I kind of felt that same way. But what they showed me for you was to envision the crown chakra above your head. And so when you're ready to sit in stillness, you need to envision this crown chakra above your head. And see it as if it's a flower, whatever flower you connect with most, and allow this flower above your head to start to open. And well, first, actually, we're going to close it. So visualize this flower and now see all the petals of this flower moving towards the inside vessel, or where the very middle of where the pollen is in the flower. Envision all of these petals moving to close off that middle area of the flower. And so when you sit with the crown chakra closed and breathe, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth, connect with yourself, get very still. This should still the thoughts in the mind, and then slowly allow the petals to open and allow there to be just a dime size hole in the middle of that flower. And just use your mind's eye and envision this, or you can even just sit there with the knowing that this flower is now, the internal portion of it is now a dime size open, and ask for the divine white light to fill you. And as it fills you, sit there with your thoughts and start to understand what your thoughts are trying to guide you towards. And then as that feels good and you feel like you have a hold of it, then allow it to get the size of a quarter, and then allow it at some point to be now open to the size of your head. And every day, like morning and night, you need to do this exercise, closing the crown chakra and then opening it to a size that feels comfortable for you. And don't go past that size when it feels good. And if you open and it doesn't feel good, then go back to that other size. And then at nighttime, do the same thing. Every morning and night, just work with the size of this flower and begin to draw down the white light. And I think this should help you be able to sit with your own thoughts and be comfortable in the stillness of your thoughts and receiving that wisdom that will fill you and sustain you. So with light and love.